Mara stock is getting ready to give us a very bullish setup to accumulate longs, right? But what we want to identify is where exactly is this bullish setup going to start, and how can we take advantage of it really. So to get a better understanding of what's going on with Mara, we're going to jump into Bitcoin so we can get a better understanding of the structures and how that can influence Mara stock, of course, right? Because this is what the company really focuses on for the most part. So there's two ways of prepping for this bullish setup, and both of these ways translate to the same conclusion at the end, right? So to keep it simple, it's as simple as looking at the 120 moving average, looking at the RSI, and looking at the current structure, right? So what is this telling us, and how can we take advantage of Mara, right? So we know that Bitcoin had three deep value dips below 80K. Ever since the third dip, we started pushing up much higher, breaking previous resistance lines quite well. Structures have been breaking like crazy, right? Constantly. Ever since then, we've seen very minimal sub, on the RSI sub 30 level. And ever since then, we've been seeing the RSI max out to the upside quite a bit as it stretches the structure higher. And we haven't really seen the RSI bottom out in a while. So mixing that as well as the constantly rising RSI, which we know the RSI likes to rise, dip down constantly, and as it does that, the price likes to jump up and down from the RSI. Ever since this previous dip right here, where we did see the RSI max out to the downside, we haven't seen the price mess or flirt with that 120 moving average as well. So this is another indication of why the price is very, very much overextended. But on top of that, we have a next leg up area that we've been looking at as a major resistance area. We did find resistance in the more smaller structure fib extension area, finding support with the ascending support line. Ever since then, we started pushing up higher, as well as breaking below this trend line. So this is the first indication that a top is either in or about to be in, right? This is all going to translate into tomorrow in just a moment for this bullish setup. So as of right now, just like I said in yesterday's video, I would like to see the price ideally come down, maybe try to find support inside this micro fib, supportive area right here, which will give us a better indication that, hey, if we can hold this area, we can maybe push up, make one more high to take advantage of last minute longs, maybe around 97K, where the medium area in this resistance area begins. So we can start seeing some potential topping in this area. If we have one more high, that's the first scenario, right? So the first pathway is one more leg up, a little bit of a higher high before we start coming down and testing not just 90K, but potentially maybe if we can't hold 90K, where we have previous imbalance as well, which can act as support. We've seen imbalances act as support in Bitcoin so much that it's nothing to shy away from. If that breaks, we can easily see price find support in this area, which is also a previous consolidation area, which can act as a magnet. It tends to as well, and then also acts as a support area. So what I'm looking for, and this is gonna again translate tomorrow in just a moment, but I want to see the price either come up one more high to kind of more validly validate this green fib extension area up here, and then a proper retracement. In this case, it will look something like this, where we come all the way up to roughly 97.5K, and then find retracement, and then try to find support somewhere between like roughly 86K and we'll say 90K, just $500 above this area. So I really want to try to see the price come in this area, try to find support. The second pathway will be, we did top already, and soon enough as this weekend plays out, maybe constant consolidation throughout the weekend, and then next week maybe a fake out on the start of the trading week, and then boom, it comes down and finally has that retracement, right? We know that Bitcoin, even during very positive news, we know that there is still big fluctuations, right? Fluctuations that can extend quite a bit, that can be very aggressive as the price continues to trade. We haven't really seen much aggressive fluctuations in this overall rally. The last reasonable one was right here, where imbalance was filled perfectly, retracement area was filled perfectly as well, and then we started pushing up higher. So we can easily see imbalance get filled once again. We have two right here, and it will also fill in the retracement before we can start pushing up higher. So either we can see a little bit of a more high, roughly 97.5K before we come down, or we can just come down now. So both these areas will lead towards a very clear bullish setup to accumulate longs, in my opinion. It's just that one either happens now or it's delayed just a little bit before it comes down. So I'm not bearish on Bitcoin, just short term. I am overall bullish on Bitcoin. I expect prices to go much higher this year. But the way this influences Mara is that if it can load, quite simply, we know that we have an imbalance area that hasn't been filled in a long time. So this can easily happen. It can even get pushed up early next week if Bitcoin has that one more high. So this is a very strong resistance area. Although, just like in Bitcoin, we haven't seen the RSI max out to the bottom side in a while. So we can easily see that happen soon. We also have the 120 moving average, which the price is very much separated from it. And it does like to flirt with this moving average as well. We are quite separated from it. Clear imbalance down here. And we can easily come down roughly below, easily break below $13 per share before we can start having that solid bullish setup present itself for us, right? So just like in Bitcoin, again, we haven't seen the RSI max out to the bottom side. We're separated from the 120 moving average. We have imbalances that have yet to be filled with an overextended rally. And then in Mara, same thing. RSI quite overextended, hasn't bottomed out yet. We're separated from the 120 moving average, and we have imbalance that has not been filled uh, as well either, with an overextended price rally. So that's pretty much what I'm looking for. I do believe there's going to be a very strong bullish setup ahead of us. We just have to be patient. You can take shorts if you want. That's completely up to you. But what I'm saying is that it's very important to have cash on the side, be patient, because overextended prices, even with good news, usually we see these prices retrace to a proper area. And just like I have one in Bitcoin, I'll give you guys one here as well. This is a very important area to keep an eye at. So with this retracement area from the overall rally, we have the 120 moving average mixing with, between $12, roughly $12.30 and $13. So the price could easily come down, break below 13, try to find support in this area. As well, that if Bitcoin does tend to, or not tend to, but if Bitcoin does, when it does have a retracement, this is a very aggressive drop, even to reach 90K, which should be right here, aggressive drop. So I would not be surprised if Mara not just tries to fill this area, but even tries to break below $11.80 once again. So this is a very important area to start considering longs, in my opinion. And this is and then if we reach red area prices once again, that's a no-brainer to accumulate potentially more aggressively, in my opinion. Because like I said, we've been tracking this for a while, and I said, hey, even though we're finding support, if Bitcoin or Mara, if Bitcoin pushes Mara down into this red area, it's a no-brainer buying opportunity. Next thing you know, we went up much higher from that. So if we can revisit this red area, that'll be amazing. But this is a very important area to really like maybe consider longs, um, and instead of wanting it to go even higher from here, which absolutely could short term. But we got to see a retracement in Bitcoin, which will translate to a proper retracement in Mara as well. So hopefully this video made sense, guys. I believe there's a really strong bullish buying opportunity ahead of us. We just got to be patient for the opportunity to present itself. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. And I, again, hope you enjoyed the video.